Hey everyone, it's Sarah and today I am back with a really exciting video for you. So I was recently just sent a discovery set from a new line that has come out from Maison d'Orient, which is formerly Swiss Arabian. So I believe Swiss Arabian rebranded to become Maison d'Orient, and they just released, this is their newest line of fragrances called Pearla Nera. I tried really hard. I was gonna do a first impressions and sniff through all of these with you, but I couldn't wait. I'm such a fan of this house. They're an amazing Middle Eastern perfume house. If you haven't ever heard of them or smelled anything by them, they are some of the best. They make amazing fragrances. So anyways, they sent a beautiful little postcard just to kind of give you an idea of, you know, just the feel of this house. Though they are, I believe they are a Middle Eastern brand. I believe they are, if I remember correctly, it's been a long time since I've looked into this. I do believe that they are based in the UAE. However, they do have operations here in the US as well, I believe out of Las Vegas. So if you do order from them, it will come, and you are in the US, it will come domestically. You're not gonna be waiting for something to come from overseas. So anyways, you guys, I did sniff through all of these. These are amazing. They did not disappoint. I knew, coming from this house, I knew they were gonna be amazing going into it. So anyways, I'm gonna jump right in because like I said, I've got 4 different discovery sets. You can buy this exact kit on their website. I will link it below. I hope that it is still available by the time I get this video out. So the first one is labeled Discovery Kit number 1, or Discovery Set number 1. You can see Pearla Nera. Yeah, so these are made in the United Arab Emirates, again, which I believe is where they are based. So these are beautiful kits. They fold and then you just kind of pull them out, and then you've got beautiful, I think these are 2 ml samples, and they're full. They are full to the brim. And you can see I have tested every single one of these, sprayed every single one of them, and they are still very full. So you'll be able to test these very thoroughly. You'll get a lot of wears out of each one of these. I would say at least, because they're very strong and concentrated, I would say you're at least gonna get 5, I don't know, maybe even 10 wears. Probably, I would say at least 10 wears out of each one. Really nice. They are samples that come with caps, which I also love, because once you smell that, or once you spray them and you stick a cap back on, you can pull the cap off and you can still smell it. You don't have to respray it. Like with a lot of samples that don't have caps on them, you have to spray it again to, even if you just want to smell it. Which when you're dealing with samples, if it's something that you want to like wear, they're quite a small, usually most of them are such a small amount, you don't want to have to spray it and waste perfume to be able to smell it, to make sure that that's what you're looking for, wanting to wear that day. You know what I'm saying? So I just appreciate a sample with cap on it. These, the packaging could not be better on these, in my opinion. I think they're amazing. So anyways, let's go through these. This again is Discovery Set 1. This is called the Collection Flora, or Florals. So the first one is called Bianca, and they don't have like a note breakdown. They don't have notes, but they do tell you kind of what you're smelling. So Bianca is, okay, so Bianca says that it is warm spice, sweet, and white floral. This one immediately gave me Carolina Herrera Good Girl vibes, but you guys know I hate Good Girl, and this one is so much better smelling than Good Girl. It's that kind of a fragrance where you get the spices and the white flowers and like the warm tonka and coffee maybe, and it's got that kind of feel. But this one is really smooth. It smells so much more high quality than Good Girl could ever smell. The reason I really dislike Good Girl so much is because it's so sharp smelling. It smells unfinished. It smells raw. It smells ragged. If you know, it's messy. It's very messy smelling to me. I don't feel like there was enough time or care taken with the blending of the notes in that fragrance. And this is similar, but everything that I would have wanted Good Girl to be. This is warm and sweet, but not overly sweet. It's blended to perfection. It's stunning. It's stunning. I would say if you like Good Girl, check this out. Like, do not buy Good Girl again before you check out Bianca from this Pearla Nera line, because it is far, far superior to Good Girl. And you're gonna get the same kind of experience with it. It's amazing. So anyways, that is the first one. That is called Bianca. I cannot spend this much time on each one or we will be here for 2 hours. Okay, the next one we have is called Luna. Gosh, these are beautiful, you guys. And I will tell you, in all 4 of these discovery sets, there is a really good mix of feminine, unisex, and masculine leaning fragrances. You're gonna get a little bit of everything in here. Yeah, don't be afraid. Like, if you're a man, don't be afraid to order these. If you're a woman, don't be afraid to order them. If you like really genderless smelling fragrances, don't be afraid to order these. There's something for everybody in every kit. Okay, so this one is gorgeous, you guys. This one is fruity, aquatic, and green. This is intensely fresh. It smells really, really juicy, like some kind of a juicy fruit, like juicy mango is what I get. Juicy mango or juicy passion fruit, or maybe a mixture of both. It's gorgeous. It's got a really bright freshness in the top, very slightly green leaning in the base, but mostly really, really juicy fruit. This reminds me of like a tropical island somewhere. It reminds me of laying in a hammock on the beach with some kind of a tropical cocktail in my hand. This is a vacation in a bottle for sure. It's beautiful. So anyways, that one is called Luna. Okay, next we've got Delicia, which I think is like delicious in Italian, maybe Delicia. Okay, this one definitely is, this one smells Middle Eastern. It's warm. It's slightly dry smelling. This one says it's floral, musky, and fresh, and it is, but in a Middle Eastern way. It's not, you know, our version of floral, musky, and fresh, which you would think, like, I don't know, you wouldn't, this is not what you're gonna picture for our standard of floral, musky, and fresh. This is like a Middle Eastern standard of floral, musky, and fresh. It's beautiful. This one is really, really bright in the top as well. It's clean smelling. It definitely has a very slightly sweet, very slightly astringent floral in it, and then sweetness, and then like a strong musk in the base, like skin musk in the base. Okay, the next one is called either Scintilla or Scintilla. I guess depending on how, if the L's are supposed to be. So this one says that it is rose, fresh spice, and patchouli. This one is beautiful. I feel like this one is really, really nicely unisex. It's got some really gorgeous citrus in the top, and it's like a really nice, bright, spiced rose. That's the thing about these fragrances. You're not gonna find, like, I mean, there are definitely other things that smell like this, but these are not common, if that makes any sense. You're not gonna smell like anybody else out there. You're gonna smell very, very unique, because they're just unique smelling fragrances. This is not sweet. This one's really fresh, and again, spiced rose. A fresh, citrusy, spiced rose. It's gorgeous. It's warm. It's not sweet at all. It's dry smelling, like in a good way, like in a desert dry smelling. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I could smell this on a man. I could smell this on a woman. I think either one would be perfect. It's just a stunning fragrance. This is one that I cannot wait to test in this cold weather. I just feel like it's gonna be beautiful. I've never really smelled another rose fragrance that smells like this. It's really, really special smelling to me. Like, really special. So special, it's almost hard for me to describe it to you, because I've never really smelled anything else like it. It smells very niche. It smells very expensive. It smells very unique. It's just really gorgeous. I love it. So anyways, that one is called Scintilla. And then the last one in this first discovery set is called Belinda. And this one says it is fruity florals, aquatic, and woody. This one is funny because there's something minty smelling about this. And I'm guessing it's got to do with the aquatic aspect in it, because it's really, really fresh, and it's only when you first spray it. It's like the first maybe 45 seconds, you get this really fresh, almost mintiness. And then it starts to dry down and you get this really fresh citrus. It's like almost a green floral rather than a sweet floral. It's a really fresh, green smelling floral. It's beautiful. This one reminds me of, for me, this is just springtime in a bottle. This is like a wet green garden, but strong. Like a strong wet green garden. It's not delicate. It's not anything that's gonna like fade away after 5 minutes. This is gonna hang around. You're gonna smell like a fresh, I don't know, a fresh dewy garden, or a fresh garden in the summertime after, and it's like super hot and sticky and humid after the rain. It's beautiful. I could also, this is gonna be really strange, because I can also kind of picture, I can almost kind of picture a forest too. So I can almost transport myself to like a Christmas tree farm with this one as well, which is weird. It could go either way. Like you could interpret it in your head however you wanted to, and it would take you there. It's gorgeous. It's such a good one. So that one is called Belinda. These are all, they're just such special fragrances. They really are. Okay, and then Discovery Set 2. This one is the Collection Orientaire, or Oriental. The first one in this one is called Doreen. This is, oh my gosh, to me this is straight up like incense. Straight up like incense, sweet, sweet incense from like a head shop in the 90s. I love it. It transports me back to my teenage years. Oh my gosh, when I used to go visit the head shop in Pike Place Market in Seattle, this is like what the whole shop smelled like. Strong, thick, resinous, sweet incense. This one is sweet wood, amber, and floral rose, but it's sweet, thick, resinous incense to me. Again, it takes me straight back to the 90s. I love this one for that too. So that one is called Doreen. The next one is called Millec. Okay, this one, to my nose, this one smells similar to like Shag Half Oud. This is an oud and rose combination. This one is a little bit fresher though. It's not quite as heavy as Shag Half Oud. Yeah, definitely fresher, not as heavy on the rose. Not quite as sweet and syrupy smelling. This one's a little bit more, this one leans a little bit more wood heavy. This one is ambery oud, smoky rose, and wood. And you definitely get, it is a smoky rose. It's, if you've ever smelled smoky rose, the smoky rose fragrance from the Body Shop, if you could imagine that, but with a lot of oud in it and some woods, it's kind of like that, because that smoky rose fragrance is basically just a pretty simple, sweet, kind of slightly musky rose. It's pretty simple, very light, very delicate smelling. This is that, but heavy, but with oud and a lot of woods. And this one is definitely unisex for me. It's beautiful. If you like fragrances like Shag Half Oud, I think you would absolutely love this one. So that one is called Millec. Millec. Next we've got one called Sama. This one is warm cinnamon, citrus, and wood. This one this is one that I would consider, they all smell unisex to me. I feel like literally anybody can wear anything that they want. So I hate putting fragrance in categories, because, wear what you want, what you feel good in, what you think smells good. That's really the bottom line. But for me, I am somebody who typically enjoys more feminine smelling fragrances. And for me, this one leans more masculine. This smells more like I don't want to say it smells like a typical men's cologne, because it doesn't smell typical at all. It's very unique. It's really fresh, but this one definitely does smell like a men's cologne. Like a fresh, slightly sweet, warm, spiced, clean men's cologne. Like if a dude is wearing this, I'm gonna think he smells amazing. Like it smells expensive, it smells clean, but a little bit of sweetness, so you would feel like it was his skin that smelled sweet. It's a good one, you guys. It's a good one. For dudes out there, this is a good one. I really like this. I would love to smell this on a man. I would think that any man that smelled like this would smell amazing. I would think he smelled expensive and like he had great taste and like he took really, really good care of himself. It's so good. So that one is called Sama. Next, we've got one called Sarai. Okay, this one is warm amber, oud, and smoky musk. This one, for having oud in it, it's really, really light and delicate smelling. It's almost like a skin musk kind of scent. When I saw the notes, I thought it was gonna be a lot like stronger and heavier, like a much more intense fragrance than it is. It's not intense at all. It's a really beautiful, slightly sweet, very slightly woody skin musk. It's got some kind of a citrus in the top. It's really nice. Yeah, this is definitely unisex. Anybody could wear this. This one, I feel like this one's gonna wear a lot closer to the skin than any of the others. This is definitely the lightest one I've come across so far. This would be for my people that don't love really heavy fragrances. It's really, really nice. It almost reminds me of a molecule perfume. Really pretty. So anyways, that one is called Sarai. And next we've got one called Almas. This one is described as being oudy, amber, and spiced citrus florals. Ooh, there is definitely spice. Like you definitely get the spices and the woods with this one, but it's not overly heavy. Again, it's dry smelling, it's warm smelling. You do get the oud for sure, but it's not an overpowering oud. It's almost a clean oud. The oud in this is much cleaner and not nearly as heavy as what we've been smelling, but it still packs a punch. Like it's still a strong fragrance, it's just lighter. There are definitely a lot of spices in this, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, definitely spices and woods is what I get with this one. As it dries down, some cleanliness starts to come out, but I think it's like a really clean oud is what I'm smelling. It's nice. This one leans a little bit more masculine, in my opinion. It definitely leans pretty masculine. It's a good one. So that one is called Almas. They're all good though. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't smell a single fragrance in every single one of these kits that I didn't think smelled super nice. They're not all for me, obviously, because I'm not a huge fan of masculine leaning fragrances or overly aquatic or fresh smelling fragrances, but for the most part, they're just really, really nice, very high quality fragrances. Okay, so let's get into set number 3. We're gonna be here for a long time because I've got 2 more of these to go through. Okay, the first one we have is called Maison. This is considered a spiced gourmand citrus fragrance. This I definitely get a bright citrus in the top. I get dry woods. I definitely get citruses in the top, some spices, and some dry woods in the base. For me, this one leans a little bit masculine. For me, this is all about the citruses and the dry woods and the spices. It's definitely got some really fragrant spices in there. It's nice. It's a masculine leaning one. That one is called Maison. Okay, next we've got Arub. This one is considered fresh, spicy, green, and aquatic. I believe this one leaned a little bit masculine as well. Yes, this one leans a little bit masculine, but this one is, I would say this one leans, it's definitely not super masculine. Yeah, I could definitely see this on a woman as well. Yeah, this one, as this one dries down, you definitely get a freshness. There's a muskiness to it though that's really, really beautiful. It almost smells aromatic. It almost smells like herbaceous and aromatic, but a little bit of sweetness and very highly citric. Like it's got a lot of citrus in the top. Really, really fresh, beautiful. I could see this being a perfect fragrance for like the dead heat of the summer because it's so fresh smelling. Really beautiful, very unisex, perfectly unisex. Okay, next we've got Chagra. Yeah, Chagra. This is considered gourmand, sweet, and spiced powder. Yeah, I loved this one. This is another one. There's something about this that reminds me of, do you guys remember my other fellow Gen Xers out there? Do you remember when you used to be able to go to like, I mean, they pretty much had them everywhere. Shops in the mall, like just little independent stores all over the place where they had those huge incense displays and they all had different colored sticks. And in fact, I was in Five Below the other day and Five Below has them now. And I was thinking, I walked up to the display and I was like, these are not gonna be good like they used to be back in the day. But I was really surprised. I started picking them up and smelling them and they were amazing. It took me straight back to my childhood when you used to get 10 for $1, like 10 of those incense sticks for $1, and you would have like, you know, stuff like Magic and Fresh Rain and Fairy Dust and Cherry Cola, and you guys remember Black Cherry and French Vanilla, and like you guys remember. My fellow Gen Xers will remember. Well, this fragrance reminds me of one of those incense sticks, like one of the fruity, powdery, warm incense. That's what this reminds me of. It's really, really intense. It's a very strong, intense fragrance. This is gonna be one of those that I'm gonna have to spray and then walk through because it's gonna be so intense. But I'm going to be the best version of my 90s self when I test this. Oh, it just takes me back to my teenage years. It's so good. So anyways, that one is called Chagra. Next we've got Mora. This one is considered fresh spice, oud, and citrus. I believe this one leans masculine as well. Yes, this one to me leans a little bit more masculine. This one is beautiful. This one's a little bit more traditional smelling. It's definitely that beautiful traditional smelling Middle Eastern oud, but it's not a heavy oud. It's a really beautiful light oud. That's another thing with these sets. You really get to smell a range of oud fragrances, from light ouds, delicate ouds, all the way down to a slightly animalic oud. You're gonna get the entire range. So I feel like this would be a great starter set for anybody out there that is just dipping their toes into oud fragrances or just dipping their toes into Middle Eastern fragrances. This is a great place to start because you'll get to smell a wide range of different ouds and how oud can be used in such different ways. This is a perfect example. A lot of people, when we think of oud, we think of really heavy, dense, woody, strong, but that's just not the case here. This is really beautiful, bright, floral, really beautiful, bright citruses, some really soft spices in there, and then a really beautiful, light, almost delicate oud. It's really gorgeous. I could see this on anybody, but this one does lean a little bit more masculine for me, but it's a gorgeous fragrance. So that one is called Mora. And then the last one in this third discovery set is called Anfas. I'm gonna go with that. So this one, this is beautiful. So this is another one that I feel like leans a little bit masculine. So I would say the discovery kit number 3 or discovery set number 3 is for me more masculine. This one is Oud Green Mastica, which I'm not sure what that word means, and Spice. This one for me is like a spicy aromatic fragrance. I get some slight woods in the base of this as well. Yeah, I definitely get some dry woods. It's not oud, it's like a different kind of dry oud, but this is, again, dry, spiced woods. Really beautiful. This one is all about the spices for me. Really, really warm spices. It's really gorgeous. Again, leans a little bit masculine. This whole third discovery set leans a little bit masculine. That one is called Anfas. Okay, and then last but not least, we have the fourth discovery set. And the first one in here is called Fresco. And this one, oh, sorry, let me tell you, the discovery set 3 is called Collection Orientaire, which is the intense blends. So just know that the one that is intense blends, those ones for me lean a little bit masculine. But of course, anybody could wear them. Just know that they're intense. They really are. This collection is called Collection Artigianale. This is the artisanal blends, which I think of all the discovery sets, this one was my favorite. The first one is called Fresco. Fresco is vanilla, white florals, and amber. This one is definitely more feminine leaning. This one's really, really beautiful. What I love about these is, yes, it's vanilla and yes, it's florals, but it's very, very unique because they always have that beautiful Middle Eastern twist to them that you're just not gonna smell with Western fragrances. They're just different smelling. Yeah, this one's really fresh smelling. It's like a really fresh floral. It's sweet, but it's not like sickening sweet. It's not overly sweet. It's like a sweet, fresh floral, and then there's a slight creamy vanilla in there. It's really nice. I think this would be a great one for people that are just starting to dip their toes into Middle Eastern fragrances. This would be a great like gateway fragrance. So that one is called Fresco. Okay, next we have this one called Ataraxia. This one is a warm gourmand and vanilla coffee. This was one of my favorites. Just because you guys know I'm such a gourmand lover, and for me this was the most like true gourmand one. This one I tested all over my skin. I fell in love with it. It's just really, really nice. It's super pleasant, really warm, cozy, yummy, sweet without being overly sweet. It's only slightly sweet, I would say. It's not overly sweet at all. It's slightly sweet with a really beautiful, almost like a latte coffee. It's like a creamy coffee. It's not a black coffee. It's really beautiful. The paper does not do it justice, and that's another thing. I will try to wear through these, and I will update you in what I wore last week video, because I feel like these are gonna be very, very different on skin than they are on paper. It's definitely drying down to smell like what it dried down to smell like on my skin. So it's not like way off base, but still, it's always best to test things on skin. This one is beautiful though. This one reminds me a little bit of a black opium, but if you can imagine like a Middle Eastern style black opium. It's gorgeous. It's so good. I loved this one on. It's such a warm, cozy, inviting scent. I love it. This, again, hands down, one of my absolute favorites. That one is called Ataraxia. Next, we've got one called Helios. This is citrus florals and fresh spice. This one for me smells like a kind of typical men's cologne. This reminded me of something like Bleu de Chanel or something like that. Yeah, if I remember correctly. I'm not super familiar with many men's colognes, but it's really beautiful, citrusy, kind of slightly sweet, really fresh smelling. Just a gorgeous fragrance. There's always that Middle Eastern style to it though, which is why I love these so much. So even if you're a man and you're gonna buy one of the more traditional smelling ones, one of the more Western smelling ones, you're still gonna get that Middle Eastern vibe. And because also you can't compete with the quality of these. Like, you could buy something from Dior or Chanel that's gonna wear off in 30 minutes. But if you buy, you know, something from a Middle Eastern house, you're gonna get just so much more value for your money. I just feel like fragrances like this, is so much better to go with a house like this rather than, you know, one of the designer houses. But yeah, beautiful, sweet citruses and really fresh, light spices. Really gorgeous. So that one is called Helios. Okay, next we have Passione. This is a really nice one. This one is unisex, leans a little bit masculine. This is unisex, leans maybe just a touch masculine, not so masculine that I wouldn't wear it though. This one is beautiful too. This one is so warm. This one is sweet oud, woods, and cinnamon. You get a lot of warmth from the cinnamon. It's a beautiful cinnamon note. Again, with the oud in this one is really light. I would almost say it's a delicate oud. It's not overpowering. It's not like a crazy heavy oud fragrance. This one is stunning. This one again is kind of dry smelling. It's got a freshness to it. It's like a warm, fresh fragrance, which is strange. It's a strange combination, but it's really nice. Again, warmth from the cinnamon, this really beautiful, light, fresh oud. It does say sweet oud, so it definitely does have a sweetness to it. It's really gorgeous. This one again is very unisex, slightly masculine leaning. Really nice. So that one is called Passione. Okay, and then last but not least we have Bachetto. or Bachetto. This one is mildly spiced floral woods. This is another one that is very, very delicate smelling. It's, yeah, really, really light and delicate smelling. It's not overpowering at all. Really fresh, very slightly woody, really mild florals in the middle of this one. Fresh. It's like a fresh, you almost get a touch of like an incense. Maybe just the slightest touch of just the most mild touch of like a sweet, slight incense, but mostly just a really beautiful, delicate, woody floral, but always Middle Eastern smelling. There's just something different about these kinds of fragrances. Really, really beautiful. So that one is called Bachetto. So you guys, those are 20 new fragrances from this new line from Maison d'Orient called Pearla Nera. Again, I will link this kit for you down below. I think you can buy all 4. I also think you can buy just the single packs as well. I'll link whatever I can for you down below. Thank you so much to Maison d'Orient for sending these over for me to get my nose on. I've had the best time with them. I love them. I am so happy that I was able to share these with you. And I do hope that you all found this helpful and enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.